The temperatures in this high desert are brutal and can top 120 degrees. And sudden storms can ignite dangerous wildfires in an instant. This vast region covers over 100,000 square miles and is one of the most isolated places on Earth. The rivers, if you can find them, provide the only source of water, but you'll have to share it with every other wild animal trying to survive. They've traveled for days to get here. They've already been divided into 2 tribes. And although no one has spoken to each other, first impressions are already forming. They come from different walks of life. 16 Americans forced to work together to create a new society while battling the elements and each other. They must learn to adapt or they'll be voted out. In the end, only one will remain to claim the $1 million prize. 39 days, 16 people, 1 survivor.
Alright, hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm of course Hot Dogs, and we are here to start a brand new series, and this one is of course Sims 4 Survivor Oasis. I'm a huge fan of Survivor. During quarantine, I have seen all 40 seasons of it, so I think I'm a bit of an expert, and I'm really excited to show you guys. I've been working on this project for a while now, and don't worry if you don't know too much about Survivor, we'll explain it as we go along. But let's go ahead and let's jump into it. And here we have the Red Nookstone tribe, and we're at their camp right now. So most of the time on Survivor, they're on a beach. It's really tropical. I kind of wanted to do something totally different and out of the box. So they're at a desert, at an abandoned gas station, or at least that's what the Red Nookstone tribe is. And when it comes to the cast, we have a mix of winners and townies.
The winner of the first Survivor competition is Rich. Congratulations, Rich.
And of course, you can't have a winner's season without including season 1 Richard Hatch. He is a legend and someone that I don't think will probably ever be on Survivor again. So when I decided to make a winners, half townies cast, it was because looking at the winners list that wasn't included in season 40 Winners at War, there were only 4 girls not included. So I wanted to include them, and then I thought, why not just add 4 guy winners that weren't included, and then the rest of the cast be townies. So Richard is our first winner to be included in the cast. When it comes to the create a sim, everyone kind of has just one outfit. It's all pretty simple. And of course the outfit, the color of it matches with the corresponding team that they're on. As you can see, it's the same for our first townie, Nina Caliente. And I would keep my eye out on Nina. If you know anything about the Sims 2 lore or anything like that, you know that she is spicy and up to no good. Alright, now we have our second winner on the Red Tribe, and that is going to be Jenna from Survivor Amazon.
The winner of Survivor Amazon.
I have mixed opinions when it comes fully grasp her gameplay. In the beginning of her original season, I had zero chance of her winning. I didn't see it happening. And then, of course, her second season got cut short, so she's really hard to place when it comes to gameplay. I'm excited to see where she goes this time. Alright, now it's time for our next townie, and that is going to be Nervous Subject. Nervous Subject also debuted in The Sims 2, and he has a really interesting storyline of kind of being a alien test subject and being watched and probed, so I don't think being on a reality show is going to be anything too difficult for him to handle. Alright, now we're going to have our next winner, and that is going to be Cochrane from Season 26, Caramoan, Fans versus Favorites 2.
One more vote will do it. The winner of Survivor Fans versus Favorites, Cochrane!
So Cochrane is one of my all-time favorite winners. I think he's just iconic, so fun and lovable. However, his social skills, not the best. I think he knows that. That's why he'd probably never come back in real life. But I am intrigued to see how he goes on this version of Survivor. Okay, so now we have our next townie, and that is going to be Brant. So Brant came from The Sims 4, and he was introduced in the season's expansion pack with Brindleton Bay, and he lives there with his husband Brent and Brant. And it was hard to pick between which one I wanted to come on, but I definitely do love them. I love how much gay representation and how many interesting, unique families come with The Sims 4, so I did want to include a few of The Sims 4 lore, since there is very few. And of course, the legendary townie we could never forget is Bella Goth. So Bella Goth, if you play The Sims, you kind of have to know Bella Goth. She's from The Sims 1. What timeline this Bella Goth resides in, I'm not too sure. I'm kind of guessing it was before she got married, like before the abduction, but maybe this is after the abduction and this is where she went. Who really knows? I'm not too sure. Alright, so we have 8 Sims on each tribe, 4 winners and 4 townies. Bella was the last townie on the Red Nookstone tribe, and we are going to now introduce the last winner, which is Tina from Season 2, Australia.
The winner of Survivor, the Australian Outback.
Tina has been on multiple times. She's been on with her daughter. However, she's never been as successful as she was the first time. Maybe in this version she'll be able to a little bit better. I see her either going home pretty early or making it pretty far. What do you guys think of the cast? What do you think of the 4 townies, the 4 winners that we have on the Red Nookstone tribe? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think that a winner is among us? Who knows? Alright, so it looks like quite a few of the winners have gathered by the campfire. We have Cochrane over there, and then we also have Jenna and Tina talking, and the two of them seem to really be bonding. I could see them almost forming like a mother-daughter relationship. Now, if you know anything about the backstory of these winners, Jenna, sadly, her mom actually had cancer and was battling with that both of her seasons she was on, and eventually did pass, which is the reason she left the second time. And when it comes to Tina, she has played with her daughter before, so it's kind of almost natural for the two of them to kind of get together and really stick by each other. Now, we see all the winners are kind of hanging out together, except for one, of course, Richard Hatch. He is hanging out with all the townies on the other side of the camp. He's playing chess, he's kind of talking, trying to see where all their heads are at, and that's kind of natural for him. He's very scheming, he's very smart, and he plays that way. He's very much so a strategic player, so that is kind of what he's instantly doing and getting into. Alright, so contrary to his name, Nervous actually is the first townie to kind of break away and try to talk to the other winners that are in the group. He goes and sits next to Tina and Jenna, and he's talking to them. Meanwhile, Cochran goes to the other side of camp. As you can really tell, there's like really two sides to this camp. There's the townies and the winners, and they're kind of separated. Cochran ends up going over to the other side, but he doesn't even really interact with the townies all that much. He kind of just plays chess with Rich. So he's very much so sticking to the winners, and it does seem like this tribe is going to play out that way of townies versus winners.
Happy I'm heavenly. Prompt Hampe. Who's like Jeff now?
Alright, so while everyone's kind of mingling around, I do want to talk about the campsites a little bit more. Of course, they are available to download on the Sims Gallery at Singleton RW. But when it comes to them, I really wanted them to be different than what you see on the TV show. On the TV show, they're on a beach, they make their own little shelter, and that's about it. But in The Sims 4, everyone doesn't really work that well living outside. It'd be a bit of a mess. I needed to have a fence around them to keep them all enclosed. So I decided to go with, since we were in the desert, I wanted them to live in kind of an abandoned building. So when it's with the Red Nookstone tribe, they're in an abandoned gas station. As you see, there's shipping containers all over the place. That is a big thing with this season. It's pretty much Survivor shipping containers. But the building itself is closed off right now. The power is not on. They are off the grid. Everything is locked, and they are only able to access pretty much the outside area of the campfire. All their beds are outside, and of course there's a bunch of different skill hobbies scattered throughout the campsite as well. So for example, as you can see, we have a chessboard that Brant and Nina are playing, and then we also have a wood carving station, which Rich loves to go on. We do have a grill, so there is a cooking skill, and there is different sort of skill points in each of the campsites. For example, the Red Nookstone tribe ends up getting like a few other hobbies that the green tribe doesn't have, and then the green one has some over the red. And all of these skill points will come to use when it comes to challenges and stuff like that. So pay attention to what some Sims are doing and if it is going to affect potentially their results in an immunity or a luxury competition. And we are going to be having 2 competitions a week. So on Mondays, we will be having a luxury competition. On Wednesdays, we will be having the immunity competition. And then, of course, on Fridays, we are going to be having the Tribal Council elimination episode. So we're going to stick with our normal Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule when it comes to all of this as well.
Dad.
So it looks as though Brant and Bella have eventually made their way over to the Tina-Jenna sort of area. The two of them have really sort of planted themselves at this campfire. They have not mingled, they have not explored the campsite. The two of them have just been talking and holding court in the campfire area. Like, they pretty much own this little patch on the campsite, and everyone kind of comes to them and joins whenever they want to. So they're the main two that I feel like most likely have the strongest bond in the Nookstone tribe, just because they haven't left each other's side since they entered the camp.
In a prep, soy bad. Washinoi lonkas, punarab. Swo brief, soy brief.
So Richard so far has been doing 2 things. One, he's either working at the wood table and gaining his skills in that area, or he's trying to kind of get people one-on-one, usually at the chessboard, and forming relationships with them. mostly with the townies. So right now, as you see, he's with Nina, and it seems to be working. Like, whoever he talks to, he seems to be getting along with. He's not really having any negative interactions with anyone, and I think that might really be helping. He hasn't been fully interacting with too many of the winners, however, apart from Cochrane. Cochrane has been kind of doing his own thing, kind of separating himself a little bit, kind of naturally. I mean, he is a bit of a nerd. He is a bit awkward. He's kind of just looking around the camp, staring at all the artwork. Maybe he's looking for potential hidden immunity idols. Yes, we do have hidden immunity idols. There is one hidden immunity idol scattered throughout both campsites. The hidden immunity idol is a lump of clay. For the Red Nickstone tribe, it is hidden behind the tractor trailer truck on a crate, and ideally someone naturally would just autonomously get the urge to play with the lump of clay and put it in their inventory. Whoever has it in their inventory when they go to tribal council is safe from being eliminated in that tribal council. But as you can see, Bella Goth is the first person to find it here on the Red Nookstone tribe. However, it is not hers forever. She's totally able to play with it, put it down, someone's able to pick it back up. It only matters who's in possession of it when we go to tribal council. And when I was paying attention to her finding the hidden immunity idol, I did not pay attention to Brant and Jenna hooking up. They're woohooing out in the open as their beds are just kind of out in the open. He is, like I said earlier, married to a man, and I didn't really set their sexual preferences or anything, so you'll actually notice a few of the gay sims, like Richard Hatch, for example, is gay as well. They will flirt with the females and do stuff like that, so maybe this is game, maybe they're bisexual in my version. I mean, everyone in the game is bisexual in the sim one. I didn't set anyone's preferences. So is this game, I don't know, did he discuss this with his husband beforehand? I doubt it. So this is pretty wild, unexpected, they just met. I think this is definitely one way to increase a relationship bond with someone else on your tribe. Cochrane is freaking out. He doesn't know what to do with himself. He's walking back and forth, doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know where to hide. This is definitely an uncomfortable position for him to be in.
Iba Hana Ufrim. Huh? Vapin?
Ah, Beps and McCoy.
Huh.
Yevany Demise. From.
And I know it's hard to believe, but we are 18 minutes into this episode and we have only met half the cast. We still have a whole nother tribe to introduce. So let's go ahead, let's head over next door to the Green Sand Trap tribe, where we have another 4 townies and another 4 winners competing for the $1 million prize. Alright, so let's check out the first winner here on the Green Sand Trap tribe, and that is going to be Season 5 of Survivor Thailand's winner, Brian.
The winner of Survivor Thailand, Brian.
Now, I actually liked Brian. I thought he was really interesting. He's super conniving, a little evil. And I've heard that production really hate him. He would never come back, and that's kind of a big thing of the winners I chose, are ones that you would probably never see back on Survivor. And Brian's one of them because production hates him. He seems to be really rude and mean, and we'll see if he brings any of that here on the Green Tribe.
The winner of Survivor Nicaragua, Fabio.
So, as you saw from that clip, our next winner on the Green Tribe is going to be Season 21 winner, Fabio. His real name is Judd, but he developed the name Fabio on the show because he had a long flowing blonde hair, and he was super romantic and got on with all the girls. So we'll see if he gets into any showmances here on this season. Alright, so we have officially introduced our first 2 male winners of the Green Sand Trap tribe, and now let's go ahead, let's introduce a female and a townie, and that is of course the infamous Eliza Pancakes. Now Eliza was introduced, I think, in The Sims 4, and she is unhappily married to her husband, Bob Pancakes. Eliza is hated throughout the community. She's always popping up uninvited, she always has a bad attitude, people just don't like the look of her. She is a villain in The Sims 4, and who knows if she's really going to bring that attitude into Survivor. We'll have to wait and see. Alright, and let's introduce our next female winner, Natalie.
The winner of Survivor Samoa, Natalie.
So Natalie is definitely an underrated winner. She was on season 19 Samoa with Russell Hantz, and it was kind of his season to win. He brought her all the way to the finale, and everyone was really bitter in the jury against him, and instead of voting him the winner, they voted her the winner. So no one was really too satisfied with her winning. She hasn't been back since, so this season could really be a chance for her to prove herself.
The Kinja.
Okay, so next up we have Johnny Zest. I'm pretty sure he was introduced in The Sims 4, not too sure, but he is a relative of the land grab family. Now, the land grabs in The Sims universe are huge millionaires, and they kind of shunned him out of the family for not liking his lifestyle, his career choices, so he is used to doing everything on his own. Will he continue living like that on the tribe? We'll have to wait and find out. The next townie we have to introduce is also from The Sims 4, and it is Aliana. She was introduced in The Sims 4 Island Paradise, and she is a lesbian who is happily, I think, married, and they have a child, and she lives on the island. She's very athletic, super muscular. She's probably the most athletic girl we have. Maybe even the most athletic person we have in the whole competition. She is jacked. If I saw her, I would be definitely intimidated. Alright, and next is our last girl and our last winner. It's Season 4's Vesepia.
The winner of Survivor Marquesas.
Alright, so again, Vesepia is a super underrated winner. I mean, she wasn't even contacted to be in Winners at War, and mainly because I think she was really religious, she was really quiet, and Jeff Probst has even quoted her for being boring. But, I mean, she is the first woman POC winner of Survivor, and for it to only be Season 4 is kind of a huge deal. So let's see how boring she's going to be this season. And then we're going to introduce our last member of the tribe, and it is the male townie of Irwin. It sounded like I was introducing an actual town, but anyway, it is Irwin. So Irwin was introduced in The Sims 4 Strangerville. He is kind of crazy. He has huge conspiracy theories, and he's kind of big, like, alien believer. So we'll see just how crazy his theories get in this game, and if he goes mad, or if he's actually on to something. Okay, so as we can see, Brian and Vesepia are over to one side talking, and then we have a few others. We have Natalie, Aliana, and Johnny talking. So instantly, I can kind of tell that there's a little bit of a connection between Johnny and Natalie. So potentially it could be a love interest, maybe it's just a friendship, who knows, but I would keep an eye out for those two. When it comes to Brian and Vesepia, I think all the winners are kind of going to stick together as we saw with the red team. I wouldn't doubt that the green team kind of has the same thing going on. However, if you notice, their campsite is a lot smaller. So the red team, they have a lot of land, but their interior is really small. They just have a little tiny gas station interior. They don't have that much of an outdoor area, but they have almost a full house interior. However, it is not unlocked. They are also without power, without water, so I don't know if they'll actually be able to fully split into two groups at the moment. They're all kind of forced to kind of mingle. However, as you can see, Erwin is already annoyed. He's not too happy. He's not too pleased. And he's already kind of getting into a little bit of an argument with Fabio. But they kind of just end up separating before it gets too heated, and Erwin actually ends up going over to the grill and cooking up some hot dogs. They are allowed to cook anything on the grill. Money isn't really a factor. But of course there is an issue when it comes to fire. They are locked in, and it is up to them to put out a fire if it starts, and if the grill breaks, it breaks. You better win the next luxury competition. So I don't know if I would trust Erwin in cooking the food, considering he's over there laughing and talking to himself, and evil laughing to himself. It's a bit sketchy. Right next to it, as you can see, we have Vesepia, Brian, and Fabio kind of gathering and talking. Brian and Vesepia have been talking. The winners are all kind of seeming to get together and scheme, apart from Natalie, who is of course just flirting with the townies.
Bahira. Skiba Fatul. Oh, and Taringa.
So the discussion between the winners with Vesepia, Brian, and Fabio seems to get a little bit heated. I think maybe they're all strategizing. They all want to work together, but maybe they don't all have the same strategy. They don't all have the same motives. And I don't know if it's necessarily they're all going to end up working together. And then Erwin is like right nearby, like looking at the artwork, potentially looking for the hidden immunity idol, and just kind of eavesdropping, listening. So this tribe definitely seems a lot more schemier, a lot more angry as well. For some reason, all of them are in a bit of a bad mood. Seems as though Erwin's in a bit of a better mood now that he's finally eating. Vesepia's cooking some more food for everyone else, and everyone's kind of settling down a little bit as the sun sort of starts to begin to set. This tribe is really hostile, and I don't think the close quarters that they're forced to be in is helping. So who knows what this is going to be like. It's really interesting. I wanted to put them in different sort of tribes, one being, you know, a big campground, one being small, and see how it affects. And I can already tell the difference. I mean, when it came to the red tribe, they were very separated. They were very far away from each other. When it comes to this one, they're intermingling. They're kind of all around each other, and they're already irritated with one another. And I think that's kind of fun. Alright, so it looks as though Johnny and Erwin have kind of set off to the side. They're eating their dinner together. They're really bonding. I think Johnny is kind of calming Erwin down a bit. And they seem to really kind of be on the same wavelength. Everyone else is together on the front porch of their house. I like how everyone kind of hangs out there, like at the front door, like looking into the windows, like wanting to get inside. That's the only kind of roof covering that they have apart from the tent. And they're all kind of squished together, and it's really irritating one another because Eliza unfortunately stinks. And it's upsetting everyone. Like, I get that it's the first day, not everyone's used to this harsh conditions, but like they're all going to start smelling soon enough. And I would hope by day 30, you know, that they're not still upset about someone else's smell. But, you know, I'll give it to them. It's night 1. They have the right to be upset, but I feel bad for Eliza here. Like, it's not her fault that she's so smelly. So not only do you have them irritated about the smell and being stuck outside close to one another, but there is only one tent outside. There's a bush they could sleep in, but unfortunately people have used the bush as a toilet, so no one really wants to sleep there. They could sleep on the logs. I guess it's not too comfortable, so everyone's kind of fighting for the tent. So you see like Aliana and Fabio and Natalie, they're all kind of one after another going into the tent, coming out of the tent. The next one goes into the tent, comes out of the tent, and they're all kind of taking turns fighting over who gets to actually sleep or nap or relax inside the tent. So here is a glimpse as to where the hidden immunity idol is in the green tribe. It is off towards the back on the side of the house where the workbench is. It's really off to the way, and no one has really gone over to this area. I wasn't too sure if it had to do with like shrubbery that was in the way or something like that, so I think I had to clear the area out because no one had gone over there. Like with the red tribe, Rich was like all over the wood crafting table, and no one has really done that so far, but over there is where their idol is, so we'll have to see who ends up finding it or keeping it. Aliana lets out a nice juicy wet fart out. Love that. And it looks as though in the background you can see that Natalie and Brian were actually going to go woohoo. I'm guessing they were going to go woohoo in the tent. However, right after Aliana farts, she leaves the conversation with Erwin and heads to the tent to go to sleep. So she ends up kind of cock-blocking Natalie and Brian from woohooing. I'm honestly not that upset about it. They'll probably end up doing it later. I think that's kind of Natalie's game so far, is to flirt with all the guys. We'll see if she's successful and who she actually ends up with. I wouldn't be too surprised if that's Fabio's strategy as well. That was kind of his strategy on the show, and he is, you know, always doing push-ups. He looks great right now, so I wouldn't be too surprised if the two of them hooked up. Who knows? She ends up kind of losing the war. She ends up being by herself, just looking at art. They all kind of end up doing that. That's like the sucky thing about decorating your places really nice, is that one, they're always really happy, even if it's surrounded in like trash decorations, and two, they're always just staring at it. Everyone else is on the front porch, just hanging out, getting to know each other. They're all kind of feeling a little bit better apart from Eliza. I honestly think that she has period cramps going on right now. I don't know if I gave them all like the pill. I think I end up doing that though. And that might be a reason why she's so stinky, because the mod also has that as... Yeah, I always forget to turn that off when it comes to these challenges, and it really does affect you on Survivor. So I feel bad for Eliza right now, I guess. Now, both tribes have lot traits that are like creepy creatures and stinky, grungy. They're all bad lot traits, and this has totally affected Natalie as she gets attacked by some bats.
Sequinario, Dobao, Saba, Fanirsh.
Yucks.
She doesn't seem to be too affected. However, if any of these contestants end up getting bitten by something and it ends up being life-threatening, or they end up dying, they will be removed from the game and medically evacuated. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Now, normally an episode would end around the 30-minute mark. That's about how long the normal episodes are going to be for me. However, with it being a season premiere and I was having fun playing the game and filming it, I thought, you know what, let's go a little bit longer. I really want you guys to know these I always want to call them house guests, but these castaways. I want you guys to know all of them. I really want you guys to feel it. This is so far my favorite series I've made, so I want you guys to be able to feel close to them. When it came to my last one, Love Island, and I guess my American Horror Story one, I felt like you didn't really get to fully get to know them. They were always introducing new ones, and this group, we are really going to be with them long term. So I want you guys to really feel like you get to know each and every one of them. And this episode, the season premiere, I want to spend a little extra time with them. So we're going to head over as the sun is beginning to rise on the red Nookstone tribe.
I'm from Palashirsha. Awavina. Peanut bread. Everdroy for nose. And Lloyd.
Quib, Safoob. Lumen Pebdo. Oh, Shimuk Warb.
Alright, so everyone is kind of gathered together near the beds. It is really, really early in the morning, around 4 or 5 a.m. And they all haven't really slept too much yet. Nina is actually cooking themselves some breakfast. She ends up bringing it over to everyone. I don't really know what it is. I think it's Beanie Weenies or something. And it's really uncomfortable. As soon as she brings it over, I mean, everyone's over there by the chessboard, by the beds, and of course the bed right next to everyone. Rich decides to self-woohoo just right there. Of course, Cochran is shocked, doesn't know what to do. I mean, it is day 2, and he has seen so much. This tribe is a little wild. Like, this one is super sexual, and the other one is super angry. Alright, so once he finishes that up, he ends up going straight away and woodworking. He goes, starts hammering away, starts sanding a different kind of wood. And everyone else just tries to ignore what happened, act like nothing's going on. This is a very awkward season 39 Island of the Idols type of storyline going on. And normally, I mean, knowing the townies in my mind, I would have took Brant as someone who would have gone over there and told him, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that in front of everyone. But no, Brant in this game is probably congratulating him, being like, welcome to the club of, like, publicly woohooing, since he had just hooked up with Jenna a few hours earlier. So, who knows? I thought I knew Brant, but he is definitely acting completely different. Rich, I mean, he walked around naked all the time in the real Survivor, so this isn't too surprising. And instead of comparing it to season 39, I totally should have compared it to the first All-Star season, season 8, when him and what's-her-face, Susan or whatever, they, like, go off on each other because, like, she accuses him of, like, getting like too close to her when he's naked. So I should have totally compared it to that instead. That hit me like right after. Meanwhile, everyone else is enjoying food. Nervous is kind of living his best life. Like, instead of living in a basement being watched and probed by aliens, he's surrounded by beautiful women eating hot dogs. Like, what more could you want? Also, sorry that this hot dog suit's like constantly falling in front of my face. Like, I try to raise it up, but then you could just see my big forehead. Anyway, Brant and Rich are getting super close. They're kind of like realizing their similarities, I guess, and like they're even continuing the conversation while they're both doing separate skills. And as you can see, Cochran is still just kind of like in the background, looking at the bed that Rich soiled, looking at the decorations, hanging up. Like, he's just really hanging out by himself, not communicating with everyone, which is going to end up being really bad because when it comes to tribal council, votes are going to be based off of your relationship. So if he's not building relationships with anyone, that's potentially a vote for him to leave the tribe. Meanwhile, I feel like people like Nervous and Nina, a lot of them have been intermingling with both sides. Like, there's Tina and Jenna, and they're kind of off on one end. They're semi-socializing with other people. And then there is like Rich and Brant, I guess, on another end. They're all kind of creating and sort of forming where the two sides are. They're constantly separating, but they're always intermingling, and I guess that's kind of what you want to do right now. I guess it's smart for most of their games, are the ones who kind of mix and mingle between the two. The lines are really confusing. I feel like yesterday it kind of made sense, but as the night progressed and as the sun starts to rise, the lines get more and more blurred. And maybe it'll help once we start actually having some competitions and stuff like that. Who knows? We'll have to wait and find out. I don't know if you caught that because I accidentally cut away, but as soon as Brant walked away from the chess table, Tina let out the biggest sigh of relief. She was over having that conversation. And I love that Jenna just walks around collecting trash to just end up dumping it on the ground and complaining about how bad it smells. Like, yeah, girl, I bet it does stink.
Oh, peachy peachy.
Kinkubu Koiba? Oh, yes.
Abizo fraba. Abuye squad. Zarbskin.
Of course, no surprise, Cochran is spending more time alone. However, Brant ends up coming over and kind of introducing himself some more, ends up talking to him. I mean, it only took a full day. But they are finally bonding, and maybe, like, I've barely seen Cochran really talk to anyone apart from, like, when he's in a group of people, he might say a few words, but apart from that, I haven't really seen him have any one-on-one, so this might be one of his first. Meanwhile, Jenna and Tina still continue to build their relationship. They are definitely the strongest bond on this team and definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with. Having someone that you are number one with and is really important, especially this early on. And I mean, that's one that's never going to vote for you in a tribal council. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for them. They're definitely going to be a huge alliance. And, you know, hopefully Cochran, he needs to really form one if he wants to stand a chance. So maybe Brant could be his. Also, we see that Rich is still woodworking. He's just building that skill continuously. If it was worth something, like a hidden immunity idol, that'd be pretty nice. But instead, he's just going to have to hope and pray that one of the challenges coming up relies on that, as that's all that's really good for. Now, again, I kind of mentioned this earlier, but it did seem as though on day one there was going to be a winner versus townie sort of thing going on the red team. However, those lines keep getting kind of mixed and mingled. Now, like, who really knows? Because you also see a lot of the girls kind of grouping up together. You see a lot of the girls hanging out all together at once. They're a lot closer than all the guys. Like, as we just saw, that was like Brant and Cochran's real first conversation. Yet we see all the girls kind of together at the chessboard. And again, there's a lot of people continuously playing chess, so if that competition ever comes up, there are a few people that are a threat for that. However, I feel like the chessboard is almost more of a socializing thing. It kind of puts you in a spot where you can have a one-on-one conversation with someone. Everyone is sort of suffering with having to use the bathroom. We do have bushes. However, the bathroom is inside the gas station, which is locked. So for them to get power, for them to get inside the building, for them to get things to grow in the garden, stuff like that, they will have to win that in luxury competitions. And we will have our first luxury competition on Wednesday's episode. So until then, they're just going to have to suffer, pee their pants, or use a dirty bush. So it's really weird though. Unlike the green team, all their beds are inside their house. However, there isn't really enough room inside the gas station for all the beds. So the red team already has all their beds available. However, hardly any of them are using them to sleep. They've used them to self-woohoo, to actually woohoo, to have conversations on. However, they're deciding to just nap on the logs instead. Maybe all the beds are just soiled to them already. But yeah, they're deciding to just sleep on the logs instead of get into the beds. I don't know why. I would say day one for the Next Stone Tribe was pretty successful. However, day two seems to be starting off pretty rough. I mean, they're all pretty tired. They're all not sleeping in their beds for some reason. All of their relationship and statuses and their skill points are all pretty high though, so they at least have that going for them. But I don't know what exactly day two is really going to bring them, but we're going to end it for that on them. So that is the Next Stone Tribe. Let me know everything, what you think about the red team down below, and we're going to catch up with them again on Wednesday. But let's go ahead and head over next door one last time to see how day two is starting in the Sand Trap Tribe.
Parhiba? Fool.
Alright, so it's day 2, and it looks as though the angry vibe has not left the camp. As you can see, I feel like almost every time I see Fabio and Brian, they're together. I feel like they must have something going on between them, both being winners, both being kind of douchey, blonde guys. And every time I see them, they're both annoyed and they're both like yelling at someone. Fabio is especially always kind of getting into a weird argument with Natalie, and that seems to be what's going on right now between them. Meanwhile, after Johnny kind of comforted Erwin yesterday, they're still getting along. They're both playing chess together. They've both been having really a lot of one-on-one time together, so that's a big bond that's forming between the two of them. And then there's Eliza, who's just sitting there by herself because no one likes Eliza. Aliana seems to be trying to work her way in with the winners, and I think that's a good move for the both of them. I mean, the winners are probably going to dominate a little bit, but who knows, they are all hotheads, so we'll see. But Aliana is clearly the most athletic person potentially in the game, but for sure on their tribe, so she wants to get with some powerhouses as well so they could really dominate. Aliana's always working out, doing sit-ups, so even though they don't have an actual gym unlocked in their tribe, she's still finding ways to sort of get that skill growing.
Shamul! Nespagane! Wabarani! Pajiba Doidim! Brispa Krosh! Wahidin Bayumi! You Tell the squatters!
Seems as though Eliza is still the stinky one of the group. She's still stuttering. While I'm stuttering, she is suffering from, I think, period cramps. I don't know. She has a lot of stomach issues going on right now. And she's just not doing the best. I think I'll allow her to get, like, the anti-period pill if she wins the luxury competition. So I'll give her that. That'll be her luxury.
Grisala Kumbar. Sanzibi?
Pandoli Usanet. Smishy Yafana.
Satorb.
Borsas. What's it? Santaloy.
Sul.
What you?
Alright, and it seems as though the bush has been pretty busy. It's pretty stinky. Fabio ends up going over and using it for a little bit. And then this scene is pretty gross. Okay, so after Fabio is finished using the bush, he goes and sits down next to it. And I actually think Eliza might have been on her way to use the bush as well because of her stomach issues. Who knows? But they end up agreeing to woohoo. Like, they haven't even really been flirting or anything. They're just like, look at each other. They're like, hey, you want to go? And I think they're probably going to head over to the tent, but maybe someone was in the tent. I'm not too sure, but something was in the way and they end up not being able to. But it was so random. Like, the idea of Eliza and Fabio just randomly hooking up is like, what? So I have my eye out for them now. Like, I'm trying to see if anything between the two of them is going to happen again in the future. Now, again, I don't think many people really slept throughout the night. Everyone was pretty much up all night, hanging out with each other, getting to know each other. And as far as I've read from Survivor, like behind the scene Q&A sort of things, a lot of them don't really sleep for the first few days. So far it's pretty realistic. However, as day 2, I think right now it's probably around noon or so, everyone's getting a bit tired. So some people are sleeping in the dumpsters, some people are sleeping in the tent, and everyone's really winding down. So it seems as though after they kind of mingled when they first got together, Johnny and Natalie. But then Natalie sort of got distracted with everyone else in the camp. She's been flirting with pretty much everyone. But if I were to ship a showmance with Natalie with anyone else in her tribe now, it would definitely be Johnny. I really like the two of them together, and I think they make a really nice couple. However, I don't know if it's ever actually going to happen. Because Natalie is just going to flirt with everyone from the looks of it. Also, when it comes to the Red Tribe, how they kind of have the mother-daughter Tina and Jenna sort of alliance, I kind of want the same thing to happen here on the Green Tribe with Eliza and Johnny. For some reason, the two of them just seem like they could have that bond with one another. Something about the two of them I just instantly put together. I don't really know why, and I doubt it'll actually end up that way, but that's what I'm hoping for. I did, oh my gosh, this hot dog suit. I did come to the realization that there was stuff in the way for them to get to the woodworking bench because none of them would go over there. So I did move some shrubbery around, and instantly Brian was the first one to head over there and start woodcrafting. Now, again, right behind him on that little crate is the lump of clay, and the lump of clay is the hidden immunity idol. So he is unaware of that. He is busy building this skill point. And meanwhile, everyone else is kind of realizing that they're finally able to go back there. So Natalie is one of the first people to go back there and talk to Brian while he's crafting his sculpture, which I'm sure will end up being just scraps of wood, because that's what most of them end up making for a while. And she as well doesn't know that right behind her is this immense power that she could hold in possession to save herself from tribal council coming up. So who knows? Hopefully someone will find it. As you know, Bella Goth was the one that found it on the red team earlier, so we're gonna have to wait and see if by the end of this episode, which is coming up here pretty soon, if someone on the Green Tribe will own the hidden immunity idol.
Real. Finba. Machesine. Omisk. Harthik. Cabrize. Fomple.
Freba. From. Omuf. Krasha. Zomas.
So the weirdest thing then happens, okay, so Johnny ends up coming over and he actually puts a bowl down on the crate right next to the hidden immunity idol and then just walks away. And, you know, Brian and Natalie aren't paying too much attention to him. Then after that, Fabio ends up coming by and grabs the bowl right beside the idol and takes it away to go and clean it. Again, doesn't pay any attention to the idol that's sitting right there. So both of them just walked right by an opportunity they could have had. And then instantly, for some whatever reason, Natalie and Brian start to argue.
Pouchus nooch. Cologne stone. Quaiba.
Piguna aim Udo.
Flizza.
Homburg.
Boucharb.
Obey.
They end up kind of wrapping the argument up relatively well, and Natalie walks away, and then while Brian begins to follow her, he notices the hidden immunity idol and begins to play with it. And he officially finds the idol for his tribe. Now again, like I said earlier, it doesn't mean that he is going to have this forever. He could easily take it out, play with it since it is a lump of clay, and then put it back down and someone else could come around and grab it. It only really affects who is in possession of it when we go to tribal council. So remember that. Just because Brian has it and just because Bella has it does not mean that they'll have it forever. We'll have to see what happens when we go to tribal council on Friday's episode. Alright, and that pretty much wraps up our season premiere of The Sims. Oh my god, I messed up the color again. Always happens to me. Alright, there we go. Damn it. Okay. That wraps up the season premiere of The Sims 4 Survivor Oasis, okay? And we haven't even covered most of it. Like, this was a double episode. Let me know what you guys thought of that, of it being a double time limit, a whole hour-long episode of Survivor. Was this too much for you? Do you feel like you really did get to know these house guests? Let me know what you thought of the red team, of the green team, what you think of the campsites, what you think of the winners, of the townies that I picked. Like, I want to know what you guys think of everything down below. Also, if you're still looking at the footage that's going on screen right now, you might notice that Brian actually put down the idol. So he might not have possession of it. He might find it later on. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that in the next episode. So I'm really excited for the series. It's probably my favorite series I've made so far. So I'm just so excited to talk to it about it with you guys. Like I said, let me know everything, all your thoughts in the comments below, criticisms, whatever you want to know, whatever you want to say it down below. I respond to everyone. I follow everyone back. Just let me know what's up. I wanna reach out and really grow my beanie weenies. Okay, I love you guys. Like I said throughout the video, the schedule is going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday per usual. On Wednesday's episode, this week is going to be a bit different, but on Wednesday's episode, we are going to have our first luxury competition, who will be able to have access into their, gas station or into their house. And again, you can download these campsites on the gallery at Singleton RW. What do you guys think about the different campsites, one being a gas station, one being a house? I don't know, I'm just excited to hear what you guys think. I've been working really hard on this series. I have about 2 months worth of footage right now, and I haven't finished the end yet. I have like a little bit left. And yeah, you heard me right. Okay, this series is gonna last 2.5 months, okay? 10 weeks in total, so it's big. Let me guys know what you think. Let me know what I need to improve. I want to make sure this is as pleasurable of a series as it is for me. Until then, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.